Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. So we're about halfway between Nelson and Castlegar on Highway 6, and we're following along the Slocan River, and we're going to head north to, we're actually in a place called Crescent Valley, and I just turned off of Pass Creek Road, but we're going to head from here up to a place called Winlaw, and that's, like I say, following the Slocan River the entire way. It's just on our left. Sometimes it gets fairly close to the road, but I don't think you really get to see it. And on our right, it's going to be sometimes quite a steep mountainside. There's a few little communities along the way here, a couple of gas stations. And this area has got a lot of history going back probably the late 1800s. Mining, and so that's gold and silver. It's the beginning of October right now, so if you ever go there in December or January, you can expect a few feet of snow. Get quite a bit of snow here in this area, but you can see the leaves on some of the trees are starting to change. I don't know a lot about this area, but I think it's probably worth a trip back here, maybe sometime, maybe this summer or something, 2022. There's just a lot on the other side of the river that I'd like to check out. There's a few bridges that cross, maybe like 3 or 4, kind of on the stretch that we're driving here. So these little community kind of things like this, there'd be just as much on the other side in a lot of places. This is a really good time of year to come through this country. There's hardly any traffic. And it's still, if you were camping, it's still warm enough that you could be camping until you're not going to freeze to death at night. And there's not a lot of vacation traffic. think this area here is called Slocan Park. There's a co-op gas station up here on the right. I think there might be another bridge that crosses the Slocan River here to the left, somewhere down one of these little roads. But that's one of the things I want to explore. Now the place we're going, I mentioned it's called Winlaw, and I know that name, so I've probably read it in some of the books I've read on the silver rush and gold rush and stuff in the area, and that's probably where I know the name from. But like I say, I know very little about the area, just some books I've read in the past, and call this area the Silvery Slocan. That's what they called it back, I guess, late 1800s, early 1900s. They found some really rich silver ore just kind of north, a place called New Denver. And I think originally there was like a 4-foot wide strip of ore, like right on the surface, and didn't require any effort to find it. So that's kind of what started the boom to this area. But I'll do a video for the New Denver area. Actually, I got a couple planned, and yeah, that'd be pretty interesting. Yeah, I think May or June might be a good time to come here too. Most of the snow should be gone, probably by the end of May, I would imagine. Probably won't be very busy yet. There's just so much around here. I wasn't really that prepared to come this way because I wasn't sure which route I would be driving, so I didn't do a lot of research, and I didn't have a lot of time, so I know more now. Some of the names that I've remember, like I said, that I've read, and like to check them out a bit more. Have a bit more of a plan, so probably come up here, camp somewhere around here, kind of in the middle, and then do a couple of trips, just different directions, explore when you're not in a hurry. we don't have a lot of time. You just gotta kind of make some distance sometimes, travel through. Probably the last time I personally spent a lot of time up here was probably in the 90s, I guess. Mid-90s, something like that. Went up to a place called Sandon, above New Denver. Kind of an old historic mining town that's gone through a couple of different versions over the years, where sort of basically burned down with a fire originally, and then they built the main street of the town over top of the creek, so it was like all boarded over, and then there was some kind of blockage at the start of this main street, and it ended up backing up the water, and then it just all went through the town and washed it all away. So half of Main Street was gone, all the buildings and everything. So, and that's kind of the way it sits now. But I was there in the 90s, and yeah, it was pretty empty. The guy, actually, historian in BC here, had a TV show, Cold Trails and Ghost Towns, Bill Barley, and he's got a collection of historical BC related items and papers and everything, and it's called, I think, the BC collection, British Columbia collection. A lot of it's down in the museum in Victoria, but they had a museum in Penticton, I think, that had a lot of the stuff in it. One of the old stern wheelers turned that into a museum. I don't know if it still is. I know that it's still sitting there, but I don't know if it's still a museum. But it's worth checking out. It's right on the shores of Okanagan Lake in Penticton. But anyway, he owned Sandon at one point, and I took a placer mining course with him years and years ago, and so I got to kind of know him, and gave me his phone number and stuff, and if I had any questions, I'd call him. But he had, he was just like a walking encyclopedia. But anyway, he used to own that town, Sandon, and I don't know if it was what time frame he owned it, but when I was up there was really nothing. Now I went up there on this trip, and yeah, it's quite bizarre. It's yeah, it's almost like kind of made me think of like the Stone Ranch, or whatever it was called, Spawn Ranch in LA, where Charles Manson and the family were. They're just a bunch of people hanging around and hanging out windows and sitting on top of vehicles, and it was just a weird situation. But I'll show all that stuff in a video coming up. And yeah, I think now they do tours and stuff, but looks like there's a lot of people living in vehicles up there. Kind of a weird situation. But anyway, this area, it's just got so much history. It's probably next to Barkerville and the Fraser River. It's probably right up there with that kind of history, and this whole valley, the route up to Revelstoke, and where our previous videos were, the Caslow area and Lardo River. And yeah, I didn't mention, but I'll do some other videos up that way too, because there's some other stuff I've read about it that I've kind of forgotten about the Lardo area, and pretty significant mines and stuff that sprouted up there, and some lost mines and that. watching one of the old Gold Trails and Ghost Towns shows, and it's titled Lardo. And anyway, pretty interesting, talking about some lost mines up in there and gold mines and stuff like that. Anyway, but yeah, future video I'll have a little bit more on the New Denver, Sandon area and that. So I think we're just getting up to Winlaw here. This is just kind of the outskirts. I don't know if it's like a proper town or not, but it's just a community. But I think this will be where we'll end this video. Pick it up here next time and head north. And yeah, and then on after that, probably up to New Denver. But anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you like this kind of thing, think about subscribing. And if you give it a like, I always appreciate that. So I'll catch you on the next one.